What's happening, Columbia? How the hell are you? All right.
You know, a lot of people didn't think I would ever say that again. You know, there's a lot of people here right now, including my children, my son, my daughter, family, and stuff like that, friends who prayed ceaselessly for my healing because, you know, I was so close to death, it wasn't even no joke. I've had to say my last words on more than one occasion. I don't know how we went through that nightmare, but we did. Even the doctors is just saying, like, you ain't gonna make it. You know, we can't even do surgery because if we do surgery, you're gonna die. So we really was in a bad way. And then they gave us they gave me a nuclear pill. I actually took a nuclear pill, which was pretty crazy. It was like, we can't do surgery, so we're gonna give you this nuclear pill and it's gonna take care of the problem. So I'm partially nuclear at the moment. Just letting you know. You know, I'm gonna go out and become an ecological terrorist and take a pee in the river or something like that. Just to let you know. But I know both my wife, Raine, and myself, my children, my family, we all thank you so much because, you know, against all those odds, I believe it was because of the prayers and the thoughts and the wishes that got me through that, you know? Like people would come to the hospital and visit to let me know you can't go nowhere, Max. We need you here. And I would read on social media people all over the world, including, you know, like in Kenya and Nigeria and just across the globe. Was like, I didn't know. I really had no idea I touched so many lives. We touched so many lives in 30 years. You know, for those that don't know, Charlie and I are married for, like, it's 34 years now? Yeah, 34 years together, man, in art and poetry and life. We got so many damn kids, it ain't even funny, man. What we got, 18 grandchildren now? 18 grandchildren, man. Give it up to 18 grandchildren. You know, you would applaud Abraham. I'm just saying. You know, I'm going to pass the mic to Tribal. As I said, this is my first time back on stage after a year against all odds, and I came home right here with the people that love me, you know what I mean? People I work with and poeticize with all over the place. Spirit and I, for instance, one of my favorite memories, Spirit, we got a lot of them, but one of my favorite memories was when we went to Dorsey's Locker, and we put on the PD program, the session, right there at Dorsey's Locker in California, in Compton. For those that know, that's the very same place where Huey and them started the Black Panthers. They would be there spitting poetry. So here we were, you know, at the same spot doing the same thing. It was wonderful, touching history. So like I said, I want to give Tribal Raine a chance to talk. Here you go, baby.
How y'all doing, people? All right. This man next to me is a miracle, y'all. If I told y'all the story of how I tricked him just to get him to the damn hospital to get checked out with 1 day to spare, we riding stoplights, and at that time he was shaking real bad. He could barely walk, and we were at the stoplight, and I'm like, he was like this, and he was shaking, and I'm like, honey. He said, what? I said, do you love me? He said, yeah, why? I said, just one time, would you do something for me? He said, yeah, I'll do anything for you. I took him, I looked at him and I said, well then, if you love me, go, Timmy! You know on what is it, South Park, with the little boy shaking and carrying on?
She was taking advantage of me. I'm dying.
He gave me the Timmy at the stoplight, but it was hell getting him to the hospital. We had to trick him and tell him he was going to the dentist. And then we get to the hospital, and they ask him what's wrong, and this fool goes, my tooth hurts. And being a good wife that I am, I blabbed everything. My mouth opened wide, and every ailment from 20 years ago came out, which is how he's still here.
Good. Yeah, it's amazing. I had been misdiagnosed for almost 20 years, and there in the emergency room doctor properly diagnosed me with 1 day to spare. He said, if you'd come tomorrow, you wouldn't be here right now. And just that, it came that close.
We had grandbabies on the floor in the hospital.
Anyway, you know, I know you guys want poetry, and I really am appreciative that you're here. You could have been anywhere else, so I want to give you some poetry. it's not necessarily all going to be positive tonight. As a matter of fact, Tribal wants to kick somebody's ass. I just want to put it out there. And I'll give you the story of that later. But also, I've been having some issues too. You know, I'm all about bringing our people together. I'm a modern-day slavery abolitionist, trying to help make my people aware that what we're dealing with is modern-day slavery and human trafficking through the 13th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution. You know what I mean? And I don't really focus on any particular group within our oppressed circle. I don't say I'm more concerned with men than I am with women or vice versa. I'm concerned with children a great deal, and I know how many of those are being incarcerated and how much it costs to incarcerate them and what they're going through. Of course, children are on the top of my list. But, you know, we got a lot of leaders now that are dividing us in every way you can imagine, especially with colorism. You know, I just read an article recently where a brother said light-skinned people can't relate with the struggle. Yeah, I don't know if any of y'all seen that. And then you got another brother out there. He's a thought leader. I ain't trying to say all these names or whatnot, but he said Frederick Douglass would have been the greatest black man to have ever lived if he wasn't half white. How you can even say some shit like that, you know what I mean? But I understand, you know, I grew up in an all-black neighborhood where they had projects and shit. Everybody, I had like one white family in the neighborhood. I was the lightest person in the neighborhood. Contrary to how I may look for those that don't know me, I am my brother, okay? And, you know, my mother's black, my father's Sicilian. I have a black wife, black children. I lived a black life. As far as I'm concerned, I'm black. I ain't trying to hear nothing else. Don't tell me what I'm not, all right? And I've had my black card pulled so many times in my life, it must be a New York City turnstile pass. I got people telling my ass to mark other and saying I'm not a brother because I refuse to partake in self-hate to become a member of the local yokel Kill Whitey Club. They say the subject is suspect because of a Sicilian side. Like, I haven't survived a genocide for years. Like, my family didn't walk the trail of tears. Like, my children aren't subject to a double dose of diasporas right now. See, I know a lot more about me than you might believe. Through mitochondrial DNA, I can literally trace my lineage back to Eve. And I know the names of family members from as far back as 1693, and you're trying to tell me what I'm not. That shit is hot. So let's play another game. How many of those same people saying that shit know their own father's name? Part, half, hybrid, mutt. What the? It's a fact that I'm a black cat, and I know that there are some who would prefer that I subtract that. But if you can't grasp that, then just call me prismatic. And don't get it twisted, it's in the dictionary. I'm one of those living bridges that cross lifelines, and we lay lines called ley lines, where there's friction and distinction, where energy emanates. I'm part of something, all right? I'm part of the struggle, surrounded by half-wits calling their own children mutts from the White House steps. And the only hybrids I see, to be honest, are fathered by a racist state and white nationalists who have put you right back into bondage. So, if we're dividing the whole planet by race, I want at least 3/5 of the ball. No, never mind. I want it all. Step slowly away from the continent, from the planet, and put the continent down. That's all mine now, and you can't have any of it unless my father says so. I'm pulling your place card for a change. Now what? A bunch of hateful hypocrites talking about what's theirs like they split Pangea, carved out continent, filled seas, and then moved mountains around like they were planting trees in a park, and then they set the sun in the sky spinning because they feared the damn dark. Most of those frontin' fools use the same damn EBT card that everybody else does, and a bunch of them just lost that. Publicly popping crap online about who made a baby with who, with no concern for the baby at all, like he ain't gonna grow up one day and look at the tapes just like I did, son, and know how many fake created, Willie Lynch indoctrinated, broke power brokers hated them just for taking breath on day one. This shit is outrageous. We don't have any identity confusion. They do, and it's contagious. So, stop feeding propaganda to your baby cubs. And stop being selective and cherry picking people that you invite to your private club. See, Adam Clayton Powell Jr. was as white as I am, and he defined black power. If Frederick Douglass or Malcolm X had said instead, forget you hateful, ungrateful bastards, like he was friends with the Boondocks version of MLK, you'd probably be living in the CCA under the CSA right now today. That's the Corrections Corporations of the Confederate States of America. Have a little appreciation for your ancestors. I'm just saying. If Black America were on the Maury Povich show and the test came back positive for us half-breeds, the first thing out the mouth would be like, hell no, that baby don't even look like me. Somebody ought to report your ass to Child Protection Services. I mean, look at poor, confused Don Lemon. And what the hell is a Campbell Asian, a.k.a. Tiger Woods? No, it is not all good. Malcolm warned you, and you still let your enemy raise your kids. And now you're upset because some of them have white denial issues and Stockholm Syndrome, just like you did. Try telling your children you love them for a change and see how far that moves. And then we could be like, one nation under a groove, getting down just for the funk of it. One nation and we're on the move. Nothing can stop us now.
Go ahead, Ben. As for Max Parthas, truth happens when you look into the actual faces of the oppressed and the oppressor. You can't hide or deny what you see. One must always be the lesser and one the overt aggressor. See, being hunted is always a bitch for the prey. Having to eke out a plan of survival while continuously looking over your shoulder wondering what, or should I say who, will be snatched up next. How many will they hurt or kill? Come on, Jazz, we all know the drill. We all grew up in the valley in the shadow of truth. How many pints of blood will they exact for our imagined sins? It's as if being born black were an option and our preconscious opinions held sway. When only the Almighty had an opinion that day, so suck it up, buttercup. We were born this way. And for most of us, the secret to dealing with the oppression is to deny its existence. As if we can afford the luxury of entertaining conscious dissonance, continuously looking over our shoulder as our people are being desiccated by pride, decimated by genocide. When the sad fact of the matter is most of us are unwilling witnesses dragged along for the ride, pulling out our cameras and cell phones in order to chronicle the view, sheepishly bowing our heads when asked, well, what did you do to assist in the struggle? To which most of us can only reply that we're out here trying to make a difference. Hell, we're trying not to die. See, truth happens when you look into the actual faces of the oppressed and the oppressor. You can't hide or deny what you see. One must always be the lesser. When you look in the mirror, are you facing the truth or are you existing in their lies? Whose face would I see where I look in your eyes? See, the simple fact is, if you're not going to stand up and act, then get the fuck out the way. And let those of us who are consciously aware that slavery's still here and the slave catchers are still hunting America's hunting grounds, stand up and fight. Not just for our rights, but for your rights too, even though you're doing all you can do to label us troublemakers, savages, too stupid to realize that they're hunting you too. Any brown or black meat will do as a serving at the master's table, where he'll dine on the flesh of the ignorant oppressed just as lustily as he sucks the marrow from the bones of the conscious few. Get a fucking clue. Because in their eyes, black don't matter unless it pertains to slavery or servitude. How much money are you worth in their pockets? Which role will you play in their prison industrial courts? The I won't go down without a fight victim or a cohort? Make a damn choice. Because at the end of the day, it all boils down to this. Truth happens when you actually look into the actual faces of the oppressed and the oppressor. You can't hide or deny what you see. And right here on the American plantation, they're still hunting people like me. What the fuck are you going to do to stop it?
You do not be playing, man. And we be pissing people off a lot. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just not that type to go along and be somebody's hand puppet. We make up our own minds. We do our own research. We don't really talk about things we don't know much about. I've spent the last 15 years exclusively studying the 13th Amendment and modern-day slavery. Many call me one of the foremost experts on that particular subject in this country. Some of the things that I've discovered are mind-blowing. But, you know, the more you know, the less you have to say.
Amen.
You know, and here's what I can tell you tonight. If you think that slavery ended even for a single hour, you are mistaken. What you should try to do is just take a minute, look up the 13th Amendment, which is what all our freedoms depended on, right? And read it. Read it. And then spend a few minutes thinking about it. Because you'll see it says, except for prisoners duly convicted. You can't have an exception in abolition because that would negate the entire thing. And because of that, it allowed this thing called convict leasing to start. In 1865, they said that the last people in Texas found out about, you know, that they were free from the general that came out there and informed them that the emancipation had happened almost 2 years ago. Thank you, baby. Well, in 1866, Texas started using convict leasing. To this day, we still do that right here in South Carolina. To put a teenager into one of these private facilities costs $160,000 a year. Let me tell you something. If you gave me $160,000 as a parent, you would have never seen my damn kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't find money to help me when I need it, but let some of my kids do something wrong, suddenly you got $250,000 to throw out the window, right? It's crazy, man. It's crazy. So we be pissing people off. And sometimes I just don't like to address haters, but I did write a poem about haters. I did write a poem about it. And by request, I'm going to do it tonight. All right? And then I'm going to give you a little story that leads up to Tribal's poem, which will be almost our last. So anyway.
Almost.
Bear with me. Remember, I almost kicked the bucket, man. I'm not even supposed to be doing this. I'm going to try to sing. I've never done that before. Y'all ready?
No, please, no, dear God.
All right. Let me pop my collar. Miracle man up in here. I'm going to pop my collar. Pissing them off. Like, I give a damn if I piss somebody off. I like fights where foes' blows can shake entire nations. I'm not trying to think about the petty insecurities of some punk that makes them feel like petty hating. I am baiting more bitter bitches like that to keep on sticking me in the back. I got so many knives in my spine, it looks like a railroad track. So keep the blades coming if that's how you get your kicks, kid. Cause I'd rather bleed than to waste my creative seeds on anything your little tricks did. I'm trying to free up people still enslaved to Caesar, Octavius, Augustus, and I don't have to do a damn thing. For my Lord will be serving all the final justice. They say you're gonna pay power for your net worth in a network that let clerks, lawyers, and Pharisees rule the land. You already got it, I can spot it, preordained for doom. So I don't have to give a damn. My dad did, and you're a bad kid, just like your daddy Tubal Cain who came before you was. So fuck you, traitorous, haterous hoes, because there's nothing you could do or nothing you could say that could ever be the truth to save us, you bitter bitches, bitter bitches. You're ashamed to the whole damn game, you bitter bitches, bitter bitches. Fuck them if they can't hang.
Fuck them if they can't hang.
Bitter bitches, bitter bitches. Even people that open mics don't want to know your damn name. Y'all all got some bitter bitches around you. We all know about a bitter bitch or two. I don't normally say things like that, but I just had to let it off my chest, because even while I was about to kick the bucket, I was out there fighting, and I was still having to deal with knuckleheads that was telling me things like, listen, man, what are you trying to do over here with my cane? You know what? See, I ain't got no insurance for this shit out there either. So, you know, being out there, being a fighter, is this actually working? Can you hear me better with this?
Yes.
Okay. So being out there, being a fighter, we always run across people, knuckleheads, you know what I mean? And I was talking with this one group who started talking to me about how I have all of this light-skin privilege. And I'm like, I told you I grew up around the projects. I was there when the crack epidemic happened. I watched my family lose their homes. I watched the police go into my community with shopping carts throwing Negroes in it so they could put it into the jails and make monies on it. I watch all these things occur. I don't know where this privilege came from, and I was trying to express that. And it was like, well, you got it anyway. And then it was a couple of women, because another woman chimed in. And then she started telling me about how I need to humble myself now and just listen because this woman talking to me. And I'm like, well, okay. In the meantime, my wife and sister's watching this conversation going on. They're like, can we get in too? So I said, okay, I'm getting out. And I asked the host of the thing, I said, can my wife and sister get in? And she was like, she just worked out. I can't believe it. She didn't have no idea who she was talking to. She was like, I don't need no mammies, pick me, need a man to tell them what to do to come up in here talking blah, 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 blah. And Tribal saw that. And then what they did, rather than give Tribal or Sharon an opportunity to communicate on their own about who they are, they just blocked us all. So Tribal said, you know what? Don't piss off a poet. I'll make your fucking ass famous. And she wants to get that off her chest tonight.
Go on, Tribal.
I'm not one to get angry quickly, but when I do, it's over. So this was my response to her immediately, because the heifer never met me. I am not your mammy, nor am I your misogynistic, pick-me, wannabe, follow the crowd type of woman. I don't need a man to stand up, define, or lead me to the truth. I can get there on my very own. And if you don't already know that, you need to step back and ask someone. Do your fucking research, because I'm Googleable, bitch. I am. And what I stand for is already out there for the world to see. Don't come for me or mine, because you might get your feelings hurt. See, the truth I teach will blow your bubbled world wide open. Have you searching for the invisible chains that keeps your Willie Lynch ass shackled to massa? Banging on iron bars, shouting, give us free. I'll open wide your third eye and tell you the truth about modern day slavery. To the irrefutable fact that as blacks, we're still not free. And we will never be. You swallowed their bullshit agenda unquestionably. It's time to open up your eyes and see. I agree with Malcolm X when he said our people have become bamboozled, hoodwinked, led astray. And it's time for us to be taught and brought back into the fold. Mammy wasn't Mammy because she wanted to be.
That's right.
And my great-great-grandma didn't spread her legs because she wanted to. And while I love all the beautiful shades my black people come in, not one of my ancestors asked to be born light-skinned, to be ostracized and despised by their own kith and kin. It seems Willie Lynch succeeded in turning black folks against one another. And that's a fucking shame. Because we used to be a village. Now we're out here oppressing our own people. And you call me a traitor to my race? What a fucking disgrace. See, they don't need to divide and conquer anymore. You're doing their work for them. So it's time to stop, step back, and see the truth for what it really is. Stop assimilating, riding, and masturbating the slave master's dick. Mammy my ass. I'm out here fighting so I can lead all our people on that freedom train that Harriet alluded to. And if you don't know this, this is who I am. And that's what I do. I'm trying to free my black people. How about you?
We know what the problem is. We all know what the problem is. We've been controlled by this economy. It's money. Everybody needs money to do something, you know what I mean? Like, we could tell you some mind-blowing information and it only takes a second. All federal state cases end up in a plea bargain 95% of the time. Did y'all know that? The Sixth Amendment guarantees you the right to a fair and speedy trial. If it's 95% of the time, instead, it's a backroom deal. That means there is no Sixth Amendment. It doesn't exist. The facts don't support it. And we fought and died to have these rights, so we wouldn't be able to be railroaded into prisons so they could put heads in beds and make money on each and every one of us. And they don't care who you are. We see it on TV all the time. They get anybody. Ain't none of us safe. If you're in a state that practices legal slavery and criminalizes people's lives, there is no one who is safe. But it's all about money. Ain't a damn thing funny. What's up? Are you feeling that? Okay, I thought you was calling me. All right. It's all about money. 30 silver pieces got my people mind blown. 30 silver pieces are the seeds that were sown. 30 silver pieces sold my piece of peace. 30 silver pieces paid in full to the beast. See, you cannot do what my God is not allowed to stand. Even 30 silver pieces in a traitor's hand was part of the pattern and all in the plan. I said Judas couldn't do this without the permission of the Father. So if you think you got the price to pay for operating soul, you're wrong. So don't even bother. See, we don't entertain for fame or to obtain a claim. We stand before you as beacon of lights to expose the game. And for those that claim they have our best interests at heart,
y'all motherfuckers never had it before.
So why should we believe that now you're going to start? You're openly pimping our people and moving in stealth, and it don't take a 6 cents to know that 6% owns 60% of the entire world's wealth, and the world's health is like an open, festering wound with children dying all over of AIDS, poverty, and starvation, while some nations' exclamations are of an unprecedented boom.
Back up and give me room, because I'm about to blow the roof. Just look at how these corporations flout their clout. Therein you'll find the truth.
You got these public services using strong arm tactics. Extortion is done as standard practice. The fact is we, the people, take it, and then we cry about the man when we can't make it. We're naked and ignorant as the day we were born, and there's nothing we have that they don't own. Stripped of dignity, pride, and hope, and the only freedom we can find is in death and dope. 30 silver pieces conveniently repeated.
Sold our own souls like we didn't even need it. Face down on the ground with our ass in the air for some little green paper we can't even use to wipe our own red.
End this drama before the curtain closes.
Let my people go!
Y'all heard Moses. Break the borders, release the chains, open all school doors and let young minds change. Rearrange the priorities where life is still sacred, and if we must have another tea party, then let's make it. Fuck it, then take it. If it's their dollars, let them have it, because it's slavery. Bullshit is getting to be a goddamn habit. It's tragic how easy we can be so conditioned to being used like a tool by a fool on a mission to go against God, family, and man.
But some 30 silver pieces in the traitor's hand.
You better make a stand before you lose your place to make steps. And if you're thinking that you're immune, we got some news for you. You're next. Correct me if I'm wrong, but aren't we all on the same sphere? So if it's being done to Kevin over there, it's also touching spirit over here. Being aware can be a curse when there's so few who truly see that what is happening to you is also happening to me.
It just happens to be the price we paid to live a lie. And it still amazes me to see what 30 silver pieces continues to buy.
It's those 30 silver pieces that got our people's mind blown.
30 silver pieces are the seeds that were sown.
30 silver pieces stole my peace, 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 peace. 30 silver pieces paid in full to the beast. Peace, Max. Maximum freedom. None of us are free. One of us is chained. Oh, none of us are free. Oh, Lord. None of us are free. None of us are free. None of us are free. One of us is chained. None of us are free.